No, wait a minute, wrong show. You know
We can
she's
still
back there
dance.
lurking somewhere. Oh my goodness, see, look at her. All right, how are you today? You look
I'm
busy.
I
Look,
look busy. Okay, Mike, seriously, your compliments to me, I think I don't know if it's like you could excel beyond your ability to really flatter me with your questions. It's awesome. You
you,
look
I,
busy. What does that mean, people?
well, so a buddy of I'm gonna go see you soon. So you're super excited, right? You're gonna be there bright and early. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna get to see me again twice in 1 year. It's unbelievable. And I talked to some of your friends, and they wanted me to give you a personal hello. So somebody has to hold the camera, and there's a 50% chance I'm gonna die in the process of this. But I did it last time. I'm courageous, if not stupid. You're gonna get your special hellos from your friends. Okay, you ready? You excited?
Okay. All right.
Okay, just you'll find out. I mean, dadgummit. All right, so
Oh, take a
so
sip.
here's the deal.
Yes.
I need to find out why someone, I can't remember who, someone told me, "Oh, it's cold in Dallas. Ooh, I'm freezing in Dallas." And so I'm packing like redneck sweaters and flannels, and I pull up my phone, and I'm like 90 degrees, 89 degrees. That's not cold. What in the, I mean, I guess when you're at 120 every day, I guess 90 is cold. But now I had to go break out like swim trunks and shit. So
Okay,
see,
yeah. No, let me clarify. It actually got down to like the 50, 60s, like low 60s, high 50s, like in the evening. But yeah, the daytime it is a little bit warmer. So right now it's 79 degrees right now in Frisco. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
dude, you be nice to me because I'm buying socks for this trip. Okay, I'm buying socks for this for you, Sia. So
You better be bringing your sneakers too, because apparently you've got voluntold to do some 5 a.m. exercise. I just want okay. Can we just tell you guys? I am not a morning person. Jody Lamb is a morning person, and so we're all getting together. We all work with Jody and support her and all that good stuff for some business stuff. And she goes and texts us and says, "Okay, well, heads up Friday morning. Who wants to do bar with me?" And I'm like, "I'll go to a bar, but that's at PM, not AM."
right. No, she means, yeah, work out and be all sweaty and stuff. Yeah, so that's what Sia wants to do. She wants to be all tired and sweaty before she works in production. Do
Yeah,
it. Come
no.
on, you can do it.
I Dude, I go to bed at like 2 a.m. Like, there's no way I'm getting up at 5 a.m. Like, I'm sorry. No, no, it's not happening. But
Man,
anyway, it's all good.
look,
It's all good. And we're all excited. So, can we
we
start
are.
this?
Let's get it going. I'm super excited. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this, my friend.
Goodness.
Are you looking to grow your business and your mindset alongside a fun and awesome pack? Grab a chair and your favorite beverage and join Mike Ashebrainer, the business mechanic, and his win-win network for the Hounds of Business Happy Hour.
Oh, oh goodness.
That's
I
bad.
need to copy and paste the back chat so I can post that tomorrow. Okay. That how mean. Oh goodness, great. All right.
How mean I
So
am to you.
how
Please,
mean you are.
I have to get this show
Hey,
on the road and keep you on track, young man. What I don't have time to say, "Please, sir, would it be so kind of you, please, sir, to be aware of
be
time,
careful.
sir?"
Be careful what you wish for because I've always wanted a big bro, and now I've got one, and I feel like I'm getting wedgies every day virtually online. All right, so we got to go through some brilliant people, some great stuff going on in the business world, especially through LinkedIn. So who's up first? Who's on deck?
All right, so let's go ahead and as you should be aware, our good friend.
Our good friend Kelly Wagner, Kelly and Morgan, the digital duo. Marketing. Man, they are great. They do a lot of stuff. They have a great podcast, and one of the things that they're doing now, which I think is absolutely amazing, is opening it up for us people that are part time building a business or solopreneurs who can't afford a full on marketing help and all these different websites. So here you go. Scan the QR code. They're probably in the chat. Kelly Wagner's profile on LinkedIn. Best way to get them. Uh, Great job, great people, and man, they just want to give back, right? I mean, it's all too easy just to work with people and companies and, small cap companies, but they're wanting to reach back and push other people up, man. That's what we're all about. You guys know that. So go check them out. They're fantastic people. They've got a lot of good things going on. There's something for everybody there, and they got a lot of good free stuff. And you know me, that's why I do this show, right? So I get all kind of free coaching, and that's why y'all show up to network and celebrate and get to really hold into those people. I mean, you look at our guests. If the stuff they give for free is this good, imagine what happens when you hire or buy their book or attend their speaking engagements. So go check these guys out, man. Kelly Wagner, fantastic people. You won't be sorry. Go check it out.
Scan the QR codes, folks. All right. So our next illustrious highlight that
Oh my
you'd like to
goodness.
talk about. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, well, Larry the Cable Guy called me and said he wanted his shirt vest back, so I gotta go find another one. But Miss Raquel, hey, we're going to be live in Dallas, right? All of us, well, I was gonna say trio, but there's four of us, right? So I don't know what you call that. Quintup, I don't know. Anyway, go check out Raquel's show. We will be live. Jody Lamb, Sia, who don't need a last name, yours truly. Man, we're gonna have a blast. So show up for that. It's gonna be special. Is it 11? Oh, 10 Central. And I will quote
No,
Central when I'll
we're
be
actually
in.
moving this down. We're actually making that this is going to be a real special episode. We're going to make this one more of a afternoon cup of tea happy hour because we've got so much going on. We're doing a lot of content creation in the morning, and also Constance CJ, Dr. Leland, has a follow up to her global summit. So we're as speakers are participating that at the exact same time of 10 a.m. So we had to shift our calendars a little bit to accommodate.
Okay, what she said. Just show up. Y'all should be following this woman anyway, man. She has dominated. She did so much awareness and goodness and collaborations with so many amazing for her people in Hispanic Heritage Month. It has been off the hook. She's been traveling and doing things. Man, and she's still here. I know she wants to just pass out, right? So all support her. She's always there for everybody. Amazing hounds leader, great individual. Can't say enough good things about her. And being around people like this is how you network and get to know and like and trust and get that from other people, guys. So you got to show up to it. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be there. So it's going to be silly at least. So let's have some good times. Put that on the calendar, guys. Can't wait to see everybody.
All right. So our next one is caregiving worldwide. So full disclosure, guys, this is a one of a kind media network streaming on OTT and CTV, dedicated to the world of caregiving, all aspects, all industries, all stages of the caregiving cycle, if you will. That can be from birth to obviously when we depart this wonderful mortal coil that we call Earth. Season 2, Caregiving Worldwide show is up and out right now. So check it out, you guys. Definitely go there. You can catch it on RHS TV. And this fall, coming out, Safe and Sound, Adaptive Concepts for Vibrant Living. It is basically combine home shopping network, but with all things caregiving, vetted by Cindy and Christina Harden Weiss. They are the hosts of AEC Corner on YouTube, so Adaptive Equipment Carry Corner. They actually test and vet all this, and they will give their seal of approval for all the things that we need for our families, our friends, to help caregivers and care recipients lead a more independent, safe life and all that good stuff. Just that peace of mind that we all want as we all go through our different experiences, physical therapy, aging, all that good stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I absolutely cannot endorse more how much caregiving worldwide. You guys stay tuned. It's going to be the Kick Booty channel. You wait and see.
Yeah, it is. Good people making life easier and doing a great job, man. And I got to give a shout out to Mike Dawson. Thank you for joining us, my friend. UK. All right, man. That's late over there, right? What's it, 12? The 12? Man, hats off to you, my friend. All right. Mike King, King Mike. Man, we got to on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. So the day before the Hounds, yesterday, you got to tune into this. We're recording for our radio show, Business Bets and Buddies. We center it around fantasy football, but we talk about real world issues. We highlight some of the best people you can find, some of the best causes, missions out there. This is a fun, fun time. And it's also airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 at 6 a.m. Friday. Did I get that right? Eastern
Yes.
time. Good job. Look, pound the back. Yeah, attaboy. So we can't say enough good things about go follow Mike King. Go follow his LinkedIn profile, his business page. The guy's always doing something to help somebody. Right now, it's the American Red Cross. Is it American Heart Association? So go in, see how you can get involved. Plug in, and man, we appreciate you, Mike. You're stand up guy. I love how you push up other people, my friend. So appreciate you.
Absolutely. So one thing about Mike King, you guys are probably curious as to why Business Bets and Buddies, a fantasy football league here on LinkedIn that is a community, Hounds of Business community live stream. Why is it on ESPN Richmond? It's because Mike King had such a great following in Richmond, and the fact that he's business focused. When he heard what we were doing, and the fact that we do support Walking Tall movement, for example, and Caregiving Worldwide is also a sponsor, he was like, "Yeah, I want to uplift others." And that's why we have that connection for those that are curious. And so I just happen to want to highlight here Nicole. She's also part of our team that's been on the Caregiving Worldwide crew to promote safe and sound. So I want to give you a shout out, Nicole, because apparently we're going to do a future post on this, you guys. But I didn't know this. There's an analytics within LinkedIn where you can actually see how you perform against your competitors. And we on Safe and Sound, you guys, have outperformed Home Shopping Network on LinkedIn. How cool is that, you guys? Just for that, I have to applause.
Pretty impressive.
So, okay, I digress. Sorry. So,
Good.
last thing, Mike, on you.
All right. No problem. October 27th, Town Hall. It's really just there's so much. I mean, the hounds are everywhere and we're doing good things, right? And we're not done growing. We're looking for great people, professional men and women. It doesn't matter where you're at. You could be just starting off. You could be a professional sales. You could be starting a side business, not telling your boss you're doing it, or going to the next level, right? Maybe that 10 million of revenue ain't enough. You're going for 20, right? Whatever it may be. All right. I don't want strays out there where we value relationships. We love pushing up others and we love to collaborate. I mean, gosh, you just saw it, right? So, uh, plug in. It's October 27th, 1 p.m. There is an external link. So make sure you click and register for that. I don't like spam or spam burgers, so don't worry about it. I won't bug you. But I want to know and make sure that, that folks are able to attend. It's a great time. We had a great time last time and we're doing it once a month right now. So, if you're curious, you heard about the hounds, you're not quite sure, this is your opportunity to find out. Uh, Birds of a feather flock together, guys. So all are welcome. Tune in, join us. Love to see you guys there. And for all the hounds that are in the comments, not in the comments, you guys are amazing. You guys are just you reciprocate like no other, and that's what this is about. They expect us to say we're good. What they don't expect is for all these amazing professionals across the board in all these industries to sing your praises, right? And that's what it's about. I don't worry about what I need. I worry about other people and what they need, right? And those people reciprocate because that's what good people do. All right. So we love relationships, but man, we do business and we mean business in the pack. So come join us, check us out. All are welcome. And by the way, you can take that down. By the way, have fun in the comments. This is your all show. All right. My guest here, he is a super pro. He loves people. He's amazing. Ask questions, make comments, chat with each other. No pitch slapping with a P, pitch slap. Um, but can follow each other, strike up conversations, man. This is what this is about. This is your time to let loose, have some fun, and learn from the best. Speaking of the best, here he is, Mr. Pandit. How are you today, sir?
Oh, you're on mute.
On
You got
mute.
mute. There you go.
There we
Flames
go.
to you.
Thank you so
How
much.
are you?
Happy to be here. Thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, you were on Business Bets and Buddies, right? And so you were on that. That was such a fun show. People raved so much about it. We had to bring you back, man, for round two. So probably one of the fastest turnarounds in Hounds history. But we're so glad you did that, my friend. So let me introduce you because if somebody doesn't know, they're about to know. You are a keynote speaker on workplace culture, future of work, resilience, mental health, and mindfulness, right? You're an author and a former monk, all right? Who now you speak at Fortune 5,000, 500 companies, some of the world's largest organizations, man. What was it? Google, NASA, I mean, gosh, IBM. It goes on, dude. AT&T, and now you do what? Speeches and workshops and help people create that workplace culture, man. That really values people. When we know when people are upset, work kind of sucks, right? When people feel good and appreciated and they're mentally, calm and healthy, they do well. Did I do that right? Did I get it right? Did I leave anything out?
That was perfect. You got it perfect. That's right. When we're not mentally happy, then nothing is going well. Then we can't do anything right at that point. We don't want to do anything at that point. So yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. And again, there's people that do all. There's doctors and all kind of people that watch the hounds and in the hounds and watch this live stream. But it, usually it's not really a business problem or we're working on our business model or whatever we're working on, but it's what's in between the two ears here. It's that gray matter that gets us stuck, right? And I learned that in this last year of just really going after it and risking it. So we gotta talk about your story. We've got to go. So how in the world did you become a monk? Take your time. This ain't worth rushing. I love this story. Can hear it a million times. What in the world? Where did you come from? Give us a little background, and then what caused that change, Pandit?
So I grew up in Southern California, but my parents had migrated from India to the US in 1980. They came over with little to no money. So one of the first things they did was they set up a small shop on the boardwalk of Venice Beach. For those of you who've been to Venice Beach, that little boardwalk, everybody's got a shop. They had one of those shops, and it was right across those basketball courts where that very popular movie from a while back, like White Man Can't Jump, that movie that was filmed. So they had a booth in the early 80s right across from there. And so they were working 7 days a week. They didn't take any days off. Within 8 years, they established, again, this is with a lot of hard work and some good luck as well. They established a multi-million-dollar jewelry business in Los Angeles. So we began living the American dream, like the 90210 lifestyle.
Nice.
Right? It was great for a while. Then in the early 1990s, my parents' jewelry business, actually, the factory caught on fire and we lost everything. We went bankrupt, right? Oh. From the lows to the highs, back to the lows. That's sort of how life is, right? And so at that time, my dad decides to explore new business opportunities, and he tries to do this in post-communist Bulgaria in the early 1990s. He goes to Bulgaria. We go with him, of course. And to give you an idea what post-communist Bulgaria was like, no one spoke English. Let's start right there, right? Very foreign language. Everything on TV was in Bulgarian and in Russian. So I couldn't watch TV. There was nothing to understand. The sports that I used to play, none of that was available. Obviously, we didn't know anybody there, so no friends, nothing like that. So it was there was no internet either. Just imagine that now, right? That just sounds like caveman sort of time, right? So
right.
Nothing was available, and anything in the movie theaters was several years old. So it was a time of incredible change for me. I mean, change in financially, emotionally, socially, just uprooting in every single way, like full on uprooting in every single way. So a lot of introspection was taking place. Like, why did this happen to me? Like, how did I end up here? Right? Those are the questions we ask ourselves when we go through a difficult time. And that's when I began practicing mindfulness to be able to go inward and find those answers. And it helped me stay calm and focused and see things a slightly more positive way, from a more positive perspective. Spent 2 years there, came back to the US, to the East Coast. Then in 1999, I decided, I just need to take some time off for myself and figure myself out. So I decided to go to a monastery in Mumbai, India. I wasn't planning to become a monk at that point. I just wanted a break. So I went there. I thought I'd spend a month there if I survived in a monastery, because everybody there was 40 monks living there. Everybody slept on a hardwood floor. No one had their own room. No one had a bed. No one had a mattress. You got a thin straw mat. The only time you had your own room with a mattress, if you were like sick, they put you in a separate room so you didn't get everyone else sick. And it was called the sick room. I guess they just they didn't have a better phrase for it at that time, it's
wow.
India, it's monks, like, oh yeah, the sick room. So sometimes the monks even look forward to it because like, oh, get a mattress, So, but anyways, we're waking up at 4 a.m, meditating for several hours. Everything is communal, the bathrooms, the sleeping area. And, the rest of the day was spent serving one another, serving the community. I started to really fall in love with the lifestyle and the monks, and just had this camaraderie. And like, I kind of want to keep doing this a little longer. So I spent 6 months in India in different monasteries, came back and moved into a monastery in New York City, the Lower East Side. And I was planning to just do it for another 3 or 6 months. Ended up spending 15 years as a monk.
Wow.
most of it, all of it on the Lower East Side, which is a pretty wild part of town because right next to us was a tattoo shop, like literally right next to us. And then there were like 3 bars, and across the street was an underground nightclub, not an above ground. It was an underground nightclub. And then next to that was a funeral home. So it was like, you could get a tattoo. And if you party too hard, then you got a funeral home. Like it was all covered on one block. Um,
Nice. My
so
kind of
It's
my
funny,
kind of
yeah.
place, sir. My kind of place. That's all I'm saying.
everything. You don't have to go too far for anything, right? So I know I spent 15 years doing that. That really wasn't part of my plan. But during that time, I was doing a lot of teaching on mindfulness and work-life balance to college students on college campuses like Columbia University, New York University, there's around the country as well. And then so that's how I ended up being a monk for that long. And then 10 years ago, I left so I could bring these messages to corporate America and corporations globally. So that's sort of in a nutshell. I guess I don't know if that's still qualified as a nutshell, but that's my story.
Okay, I gotta jump in here. So you just decided to, yeah, hey, I'm gonna chill at a monastery, and you just said, "Oh, I'm kind of digging this. I'm just gonna keep doing it and keep doing." Can you just admit it? You didn't want to pay rent anymore. You're like, "Hey, I got some free room and board here. Yeah,
Free rent in New York City and free food. I mean, that right
eh?"
there is some serious income. I mean, you'd have to walk
It
away
is.
from that.
I'm kidding, I'm kidding,
Wow.
I'm kidding. Okay, okay, okay. I will behave. Okay, okay, okay. Let me just say it because apparently you are not the only person in tonight's discussion that has spent some time at a monastery, which by the way, I cannot believe. So, gentlemen, let us compare and contrast because I think obviously different religions have different emphasis and all that good stuff. So, um you were a Hindu monk, right? And
Month, yeah. Hmm.
Hinduism, right? And Mike, you were not Hindu, you were Tibetan Buddhism monk. Talk to me,
No,
Gooses.
it's
What's
even
the
weird.
difference?
Even weirder than that, or stranger for me to be anything with monks, right? But it was the Trappist. So I grew up really Protestant Calvinist, and so then for me to go to the Catholic Trappist monastery was really a big deal. It was an inside joke. They called me Mike the Baptist. It was like letting a pit bull out in a house full of cats. Those people are patient, beautiful people. But yeah, really what happened is one day I was watching Thomas Merton in a PBS special, and I just related to it. I was going through a lot, crisis, man, just mentally, spiritually, and just was really bad. And I watched that on accident. Think I was probably drunk, and it just resonated with me. And then I found out that the daggone monastery that he made famous was 15 minutes down the street. I had no idea, right? It's the country, right? So I went out there, and it was just life changing. It was unbelievable. It was amazing. The shift in perspective, right? Like all this stuff, you know what I'm talking about. It's you wake up one day and the sky's purple kind of thing. So, but here's what I don't get, and I got to ask. So, when I did my research, I was doing like medieval research on the Trappist monastery, right? So I'm thinking, oh my God, dude, this is gonna be like hardcore. Like they were pretty hardcore. When I got there, it was almost like Holiday Inn, right? Like so, and I even said, hey, can I have the hardcore side? So they put me on the monk side. It had cinder block walls, but it had a bed. Dude, I wouldn't have been there 5 minutes if I had to sleep on the floor though. Like, are you serious? So let me ask you, did you know that going into it? Or did you just pop up and read a book and go, I want to be a monk and walk in and go, oh no, what did I do? Like, what was that?
Well, I knew because I talked to certain people and what it was like over there. So I did know that it was going to be hard for floors like that. Everybody sleeps in 3 large rooms. It's kind of like right next to each other for the most part. And so I did know that. Of course, in New York, we did have not beds, we had an air mattress. So that was like kind of like luxurious compared to the Indian monastery. But again, the air mattress is not the thick ones, it's like those air
Oh,
mats. They're
the
like an inch
camping,
Oh,
thick. Yeah, the
the
camping.
camping,
yeah.
yeah.
We had those that were like, yeah, it looked like exactly the camping was. They're like, 2 feet
Yeah.
wide and like 6 feet, and then it's like 2 inches thick. So we had those, which actually felt like luxury accommodations after being in India. So yeah, but the idea was simple living. That was sort of the idea that you don't worry too much about the material, so you can focus more on the spiritual.
Mm, yeah.
See, that that's what killed me. So I was reading the Rule of Benedict, right? So the Trappists was like historically the hardcore, like they would, wear these chainmail and suffer on purpose and stuff, and I was terrified. And they had a nice matter of fact, when we came in, uh, they had a nice mess hall. They had little treats with their homemade bourbon fudge, and it was amazing, dude. And I'm like, I was coming in with a shield, like this is gonna be scary. It was, man, it was great. So what here's my question. How old were you when your life got uprooted and everything? You moved and all life turned upside down. How old were you again?
So when we went to, so I was 20 when our factory, I think, burnt down. I mean, I don't remember exactly, but and then when we got to Bulgaria, it was like 21.
Mm.
Okay.
So I was young enough to be able to deal with it, right? Like sometimes if I mean, my dad was like 50, right? So that I can't imagine how hard it was for him to start all over again at that age. So at 21, it was hard, but I also felt like, oh, it's kind of an adventure. Like, oh, okay, I'm in a different country now, and so like you just don't know you don't really understand how real life is and how hard it is, and how things can just turn upside down. So you're like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But then you had those. I had those moments along with my low moments as well. Like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to last? I can't believe I came here, right? That kind of thing.
Right.
That's gotta be like, I mean, in Bulgaria too, because in the 90s, there was a lot of transition and change going on at the same time. And you guys are foreigners. I
Yeah,
mean, and it had been so unsettling. I can see why when you got back and said, I'm going to hang out at the monastery and kind of find myself and kind of like seek out maybe stability.
yeah.
When you did go to the monastery and you did start spending more time and whatnot, um, I have to ask you this because it's so foreign to me. And as a female, and I actually asked you this a little bit earlier, I have this like fear of monks. Okay. And it's not like fear of clowns, Mike. It's fear of I got told, like, I got spanked so many times of like, "Don't run near a monk, don't touch a monk, you're a woman, you can't touch a monk." And so every time I go to like the Thai Buddhist monk or Thai Buddhist temple here in Dallas, I'm like, I see them and I swear to God, I'm like 20 feet away from them and I'm like frozen in place. And I'm like, what's the deal? How do you respond to it? And I mean, do you notice that people like me avoid you like the plague?
So you have what's called
I'm
monk
dying.
phobia, yes, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's monk mindfulness phobia, yes.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, so that is part of like the Asian culture, right? You do sort of like the monks don't mix with women, the women don't like hug monks and that kind of thing. It doesn't
Yeah,
happen, right? So that's normal. I mean, I don't know why it was like, unfortunately, it was maybe too strongly impressed upon you. That it could have been done in a slightly different way, I guess, right? So people weren't. I mean, I was walking around in robes in New York City, and New York is a place where you could be dressed like a clown and nobody really cares. So it was an easier place just to kind of blend in. You're on the subway. People take a
mm,
quick look, but they don't really care. They don't have time. They're 20 feet underground in a train, and they'd rather be above ground. They're not happy down there, right?
right.
So they don't really care that much. But sometimes, like I said, I would do a lot of teaching and right on college campuses and just other places, yoga studios. I'd be teaching mindfulness, and then sometimes women would come up, "Oh, that was so great, thank you so much," and they just kind of like without asking, just kind of give you a hug, and I'm like, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing this, and I wouldn't say anything to not embarrass them or make them feel bad, and then but they usually afterwards it'd be like, was I was that okay for me to do that? And depending on the mood, I was like, not really, but don't worry about it.
Okay, okay, do you have to, like, say extra prayers because you got accosted? Like, I never understood. I mean, I understood, like, don't tempt and all that stuff, but, like, was there any repercussions for the monk if a woman did touch
No,
you? Like,
not within my tradition. Maybe some other traditions they had to take a whip and beat their backs or something. I don't know, but not us.
okay.
It's like, hey, you're in the city. Stuff's going to happen. Live with
Oh,
it. Deal with it. Right. So it's just that's what it was. And you don't want to like push people away. And you're like, okay, what are you, a weirdo? What kind of teacher are you? So most of the time, when I felt that somebody like was going to do that, right? Because you can feel it coming, right? They're like, because they were like so moved by the meditation or something. I'd like just quickly stick my hand out, say, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the session. And then they'd get it. They're like, oh, yeah. Thank you very much, So I would just, that was my way of just like trying to avoid that whole thing. So, but anyways, it was fun, it was funny and fun.
No,
I got to.
no,
I got my.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Can I just tell us one story? So this
go ahead.
last visit between Mike coming into town, Raquel was in town, Jody, right? That picture that you saw of us in that little selfie, it happened to be the Thai New Year, so we went there to a Thai Buddhist temple, and Mike knew way more of what was going on than I did. Like I knew it from the Thai perspective of like, oh yeah, my mom told me I have to do this, and we have to go there, and this is what we're doing. I didn't know why. And freaking Mike is like explaining it to everybody. I'm like, oh, there you go. We got freaking Kentuckian translating my religion to everybody else. But I want to say one thing that cracked me up. So there's this thing where you like get blessings where you pour water onto the monk's hand, like I don't know if you guys have that in yours in Hinduism, but so I was pouring and blessing the monks or asking for blessings or whatever. The monks recognized me, and I haven't been to the temple in forever. And my mom though is very religious, and they looked at me, and the head monk looked at me, and he takes the water and he blessed me, and he just basically just like punted water in my head to like bless me, and he just like, but it was more of a flinging, like, oh, good to see you. Where's your mom? It was just fun. Anyway.
I saw it. It was great. Yeah, it was great because I was like, did he just throw that? Or shh? Like I was like, okay. All right, so my God, dude, there's so much to unpack here, man. And this is a good left field. No, this is great, man. This is look, there's speakers, there's authors, there's everybody's got a book and things, but this is what it's about, man. This guy lived it. He's humble. He's all about. He uses his life experiences to help us, and we're gonna get there. I didn't tell him this, but I got some machine gun questions I'm gonna hit him with. So we're gonna test this Superman here. But before then, I've got to ask, who else? Mark Reed, are you still there, buddy? He's got to be thinking it. I'm going to dress like a monk for Halloween just for Sia now. I was going to wear a clown outfit, but apparently she's not. So I'll go in the Trappist. That's not really this, but I got a belt that fits. So anybody that wants to go and dress like a monk to hang out with Sia this weekend, let me know. All right. So number two, I got to say this because even the strict like Tibetan, right, is a lot of rules and things like this, and Geshe law, right? So they don't freak out if women shake their hand and stuff. They're cool about it because that's like you said, it would be a bad look. But when I brought my daughter, she was probably 4 or 5, and I've never seen them get excited. Right, this was the head monk, Geshe law, and and she's like. She's never saw a monk, dude. He was full blown robes and everything, right? And she's just like, wow. And he picked her up and glowed like you've never seen before. Like I've never seen that kind of playfulness from anybody, much less it was the most craziest thing. I gotta go find the pictures. So yeah, when you said that, I was like, dude, that was something else. So let me ask you got a question, Sia?
No, I'm reading comments and I'm trying to focus. Sorry. Keep going, my friend.
Okay. No, because I mean, you were actually. I was going to grab a sandwich. You were doing a great job. So.
I'm sorry. Like, wow, I'm trying to catch up. I'm like 18 minutes behind. I'm trying to like share people's comments. Sorry. I'm trying, people.
So what you have a book, right? And you became a speaker, right? So first of all, what inspired that, right? So what was that transition? I'm supposed to be here for 3 to 6 months. Now it's 15 daggum years, right? So by this time, you're in your 30s, right? So what was it that inspired you? What was it that said, hey, I got to get out of these walls and go out there and share this?
So, like as mentioned earlier, I was doing a lot of teaching on college campuses and high school campuses and just teaching students about mindfulness. And then there just came a certain time in my life. I'm like, wow, I've done this for like almost 15 years teaching students. I want to reach a bigger, broader, like more mature audience and help people who have bigger and grander problems in life and who are dealing with so much stress. So, you know how you do something for a certain amount of time, then you just want to like sort of up your game or take on a bigger challenge. And so it's the same kind of thing, but just to a very different audience who are dealing with so much stuff in life. And like our life is just constantly throwing curveballs at us. So we're always dealing with stuff. I'm like, I want to help them deal with all of that. So that was something that was building up inside. And I knew I couldn't just walk into corporations wearing robes. Like when I was still a monk, and one of the biggest banks in the country invited me to speak at their conference. It was like one of my first speeches of like 1,500 people, right? It was one of my first corporate speeches. And I was like, oh, that's that many people? I'm like, okay. And so, and this had, and I was still in robes when I talked to the event organizer. She's like, do you think you could dress in like regular like pants and a shirt or something like that? Is that possible? Because I asked her first, I'm like, you want me to come like this or I can come wearing regular clothes? She's like, well, just come like this. It's fine, your robes. And then like, a week before the event, she's like, do you think you could just maybe possibly wear like Western clothes? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I totally get it. And so I did. And, I gave my talk and one lady came up to me. I said that after the talk, like, I was a little upset when I found out that they're inviting a monk to speak at our conference, but I'm so glad I attended your talk. I learned a lot. So I was like, oh, thank goodness. I thought she was going to be like, why'd you come here? So it was more of
Yeah.
just the place where I was at, and I wanted to do something more with everything that I'd acquired, my life experience and the knowledge I'd gained in the monastery, the meditation experience I'd gained in the monastery. I just wanted to take it to a broader audience. That was sort of like the main inspiration.
Hey, that lady would have hated me. If you can't wear your monk robes as a monk, she definitely don't want me on stage, bro. I guarantee it. Can you take your hat off? Nope. Bye, Felicia. It was weird. See ya. I know I saw the facial expression. Yeah, I was shocked too. You're on mute.
I know. I muted myself on purpose because I was about to say some stuff, and I was like, I better mute before I get struck by lightning. Okay. At first,
Wow.
I was kind of like, why would they deny you as a monk? You're a freaking monk. And then I thought about it. Oh, corporate America. We don't want to say we're endorsing one religion over the other.
Mm,
And here's where my
that's weird.
brain is at. That's why I'm not in corporate America anymore. Because I'd have been like, if I'm going to have a freaking, Saskatchewan, whatever that thing what's that called? Yeti talking. Yeti gonna be wearing whatever Yetis wear. I don't care. Like, you're a monk. Why would so would they tell a Catholic priest to like take off their collars and stuff too if they're talking? Like I just feel it's weird. Like,
Yeah.
just if you're gonna invite someone,
Yeah.
then invite them. Just
Well,
it's not a costume.
In all fairness, I did give them the option before she even asked me to switch because I was kind of aware and sensitive to that. I'm like, hey, if you want, I could do that, or I could
Mm.
come as I am. And then she said, "Oh, come as you are." And and then maybe a few days later, maybe she talked to other people on the committee. And again, because my main thing is, I don't want also my outfit to distract from my message, because if they're just
Oh.
that, and they're just like, because if it's a distraction and the message isn't going in, I'd rather them hear my message that hopefully changes their life even by 1% or 2 than be distracted the whole time by a shaved head, robes, and all of that, right? So the message is what's important. So I had given her that option and she accepted it. So I was like totally fine with it, right? In that regard. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
I guess.
Yeah, but and here's what I like about you. I want everybody out there in the audience to hone in on that because you it's not about you, man. Your ego was completely out of the game, and all you said is whatever it takes. I'll wear a clown outfit if I got to, just to get the message across, man. And that says volumes, right? I love it. So we have a question. Um,
Yes. From
oh yeah,
Raquel. Did you
yeah,
ever have any
Raquel.
weird or strange situations prior to a speaking event or while on stage? Outside
Well,
of the robe situation?
Right.
well, this was not on stage. It was a virtual speech I did a couple years ago. Right. The
Okay.
strangest thing that happened, I was going to do a 30-minute mindfulness workshop for this company. And, we've been doing them every month for like about a year. And so I was at Home Depot just shopping. And the organizer, never sent a message to me saying that we were actually doing it. Right? She never
Oh.
announced it. No, it wasn't. It was he. So he's like, "Hey, no, it was I think one of the HR directors. She's saying, "Hey, are you ready? We're going to be starting in 10 minutes." And usually about 500 people logged on, right? And so I'm like, "Starting what?" I'm at Home Depot shopping, right? She's like, "Our meditation is going to start in 10 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, home is 20 minutes, and there's 500 people logging." I'm like, "Well, I'm like, I didn't get a notification." She's like, "Oh no." And she was kind of freaking out. I said, "Tell you what, I'll log in from my car. but I won't turn on my video this time. So I ran to the park. I left everything in the shopping cart. I ran to the parking lot, turned the car on, turned on the AC, logged in with my phone, and did the whole meditation sitting in the parking lot of Home Depot to about 500 people.
Oh my
And
God.
I didn't turn it on. I didn't want them to see I was in a car because I'm like, that may look unprofessional. So we just told them like, so technical difficulties, we can't turn on video, but you can hear me. And so it turned out fine. And she's like, yeah, that totally works. She's like, I'm sorry, I forgot to message you and everything. But it was a little wild that I left everything in the car, ran back to the parking lot because I didn't have time to go and get home. And I logged in just like 2 minutes or 1 minute before and did the whole thing. Luckily, it worked out. Nobody honked their horn. Nothing weird happened in the parking lot. Nobody chased me out of Home Depot thinking maybe I ran off with something. It all just somehow happens. I think that was the wildest thing that's happened because it's not also just like one person. It was like 500 people, and it was like they're logging in internationally from like from Europe, and
Wow.
right. So it was that was the most interesting thing I guess that's happened.
Okay, look, there's nothing harder, I have to imagine, and you tell me if this is true or not, than to help lead a meditation, uh, uh, lead a meditation, but you yourself are under massive duress, and probably high level of stress. Was it really hard for you, or did you just get into a zone and did you just get in there?
Well, you got to remember, I've been personally meditating for almost 30 years and I've been teaching it for almost 25, right? So it's kind of like you setting up a podcast, right? I think you
Yeah,
could probably do it if you woke up in the middle of the night, you'd flip a few switches and you're ready to go, right? So
theoretically.
yeah, probably. I'm almost sure of it. So it was a little stressful, but once I was able to log in, I was like, okay, and usually I say something before the meditation, like 5 to 10 minutes of some message. I didn't have anything planned either because it wasn't at all on my radar, right? So I just somehow I don't know what I said, but I was supposed to open with about 10 minutes of message and then like the next 10 to 12 minutes of meditation. And I had zero clue because I'm just focused on getting to the car and like making sure that there's enough signal and everything on my phone. So I don't remember what I said, but it all worked out fine. And she said it turned out great. It was perfectly fine. No one logged off. Everybody logged in, even though they couldn't see you, and they stayed in and for the whole thing. So it worked out. And again, you do something enough, it becomes easier each time, and then you're able to handle the unpredictable things that happen once in a while.
You're
That's
you're
awesome.
proof positive that this stuff works, man, because we get unnerved and a lot of people get rattled by a series of things, small things, and you have learned, and made a habit of letting things go or putting in proper perspective. So I want to talk about that because that's mindfulness can help you monetize. It can help you in many different ways. And it's not goofy. It's not goofy as being grumpy for no reason when you have help in books and you can go listen to Pandit talk, right? Like that's goofy. So here's my question. Um, well, let me see. First of all, Mark Reed, you distract me. Mark Reed, so Mark Reed's comments, man. I love you, dude. So he wants to get ready for the sumo competition. He's excited. And I told him he's a little too little for the sumo. I was talking about him actually sumo wrestling.
Bring
So
it
don't
back.
pay no
Bring it back,
attention.
Mike. Come
Pay
back.
no attention to the Mark Reed. Okay. So
Come
here's
back.
the question. We talk about this, and this is a hot topic. And I'm honest. Look, I just don't. I think companies a lot of times just do it because they feel like it's the thing to do or because it makes them look good, right? Mindfulness and self-care and all of this stuff. But what are the benefits? What's the real benefit? You've been in this industry, you know it. What's the real benefits of mindfulness in the workplace? How does it benefit leaders, employers, and employees, shareholders? What's your take on this?
Well, there are a lot of different benefits, right? It's not just one, but I think the ideal and the most prominent benefit is it helps people reduce a little bit of that stress and anxiety and tension that they're holding on to. You've been going from email to email, meeting to meeting, you just get tense. And when you do a little bit of those breathing exercises and focusing exercises, you let loose a little bit of that tension, right? It's like, ever use like a pressure cooker and you press the button, it lets off some of that steam, right? Those Instapots, right? You press the
Yeah.
button and that's kind of what mindfulness in a practical with this kitchen metaphor hopefully helps people understand. When there's too much steam and too much pressure, it actually helps you release some of that tension. Like I get feedback especially when I do the live sessions and there's, a bunch of people in the room, and somebody will say, my neck was really stiff before this, and we only did this for 5 minutes and it feels better. I've had so many people say, my headache's better. And remember, at a conference when I'm speaking, I do it for 5 minutes because I don't want to go too long in that setting. They're like, oh, my headache's better. It's been there all morning. So people tell me that because once they relaxed, everything in their body relaxed. And when you become more relaxed, you can do more. It's not that when you become relaxed, you do less. Relaxing your mind and body allows you to do more. And I think that's what we need to get through our head. You don't accomplish more. We don't make more progress on a highway where it's packed with traffic. You make more progress when the traffic clears. So when you clear the tension and the anxiety from your mind, you think more clearly, you'll do better in meetings, you'll interact with your colleagues in a more calm, with more empathy. You'll also deal with more empathy with your clients. You'll listen to them better. And when you're more calm with your clients and colleagues, they'll trust you more because you're giving off a better energy, a better vibe. And especially if people feel that you're listening, especially when you're dealing with clients and they feel like you really hear them and you really understand them, they're going to give you the business. And if you can take 2 minutes or 3 minutes and relax your body and mind through some breathing exercises, isn't it worth it before you get in front of a client? Isn't it worth it for you and also just to give yourself, and then also for them, that now they have your undivided attention? So the basic benefit is stress relief from the body and mind, gets rid of some of that anxiety, puts you in a better space physically and emotionally, and that helps you with your interactions, professional and personal.
Hey, Mike, did we? Is this a counseling for you and me? Is that why you brought Pandit on? Is to be counseling for us? Is that what's going on?
It's the after party that he's going to work through our relationship. Yes, ma'am.
Or is he
I
doing
love
it
it.
now?
He's warming it up. He's preheating. We don't want an intervention like for you to run away. Hey, so we call running the stress mode and doing all this and trying to get things done. We call that half-assing it in the country. Okay, that's what we call that. And that's what happens. We're not machines. We're not built for that. When you're stressed and you're out, your car gets out of gas. You can't drive the car 50 more miles because you want to. It runs out of gas, dude. So again, that there's a difference between mindfulness practice. Because correct me if I'm wrong. All right, mindfulness can be practiced throughout the day, right? Meditate, paying attention, being in the moment. And then we have sitting meditation, which really, or different forms of meditation solo that can help foster mindfulness, right? One feeds the other throughout the day. You're silent, you do your thing, it helps you throughout the day, you come back and do it again sitting. So on that note, and I'll digress. What's your take? Like mindfulness meditation. What do you think? Because these are business professionals out here. What's your take on how to easy, how do they implement these things easily? What's some tips for them?
So one thing, maybe I'll just make a quick distinction between the two, mindfulness and meditation, right? So meditation, I feel, is the specific exercise that trains your brain, trains your mind, where you sit down, close your eyes and start breathing and you start focusing and you start de-stressing, right? Bringing your mind wanders and you bring it back. It wanders again to your next meeting and you bring it back. It starts doing shopping for groceries. You bring it back, right? So that is meditation. Mindfulness, I think, is a bigger phrase. That means it could be implemented into other aspects of your life. Like when you're eating, you're like, you know what? I'm going to put this away and just eat my meal and enjoy the meal. Feel grateful I have a meal today, right? Or you're about to drive and you're like, I'm going to be mindful of, if somebody cuts me off, I'm not going to, retaliate in any way, right? So mindfulness can be implemented, or I'm going to go for a walk during work, take a 5-minute walk and leave my phone behind just so I can really decompress. Because if I have that with me, I'm going to look at it and I really didn't decompress, right? So mindfulness can be implemented. Or if a colleague says, hey, I need your, and you're like this, you're holding the colleague says, hey, I need to talk to you. You're like, oh, okay, let me put this away. Not like, yeah, go ahead. What's on your mind? Yeah, yeah, I only have a couple minutes, but tell me what's on your mind, right? So you like put it away. So mindfulness can be implemented in a variety of different areas of our life. Meditation is a specific exercise. And I think I also sort of answered your question, how to use it. When we are really being present with people, giving them our full attention, our full mind, our ability to listen to them fully without coming up with a response while we're actually listening to them, trying not to come up with a response at that moment. That's really hard because our mind loves to come up with the responses because we think we've got the most brilliant thing to say. And then we stop listening because the mind shuts off the ears, which is really interesting. It actually shuts them off. If you're starting to come up with a response, your mind can't do two things at once. I know we love to think we can multitask, but we actually can't. There's research even showing you can't. You'll make mistakes if you do. That's why we're so bad at texting and driving. Like we're killing ourselves because that's multitasking, and our brain just can't do it. So implementing it is really being in the present moment with whoever you are, taking time throughout the day to take some deep breaths. You can close your eyes between meetings, go to your desk, go outside, take 10 deep breaths, and relax yourself. Take a moment of gratitude in between throughout your day, right? I always say that don't think of mindfulness as something you have to do at the end of the day. You could do it then too, or only one time on the weekend. No, why not put it in every hour or two? And you need a minute of breathing exercises, calming exercises, gratitude, or another one I like is think of a quality you'd like to improve on yourself. Maybe you want to be less judgmental. Maybe you want to be more forgiving, more empathy. Like think of something like I'd like to develop that, right? Just because nothing happens on its own. We have to work at it. We have to meditate on it. Like if you want success in life, you have to meditate on it and endeavor for it. So if we want to improve, we have to meditate on the personal growth we want, on that quality, and aspire for that. So we can do it throughout the day. That's the thing. I don't want people, that's sort of like the myth of like, oh, I'll do it on the weekend, or I have to sit cross-legged. No, sit at your desk and just do it.
Yeah.
What's stopping you?
You got it, man. Hey, one of the things that I learned, and again, this ain't hokey stuff, guys. This is stuff you should implement if you want to feel better throughout the day and other, build relationships. So one of the things, like I would eat a sandwich like Cookie Monster, just rah rah, just gobble it up. Like, and then the monks were like, why does he eat like a rabid dog? And so I was talking to Brother Conrad one, and he was like, hey, focus on the sandwich. Don't focus on everything else and rush into this and that. Focus on what you're doing. Taste the sandwich. And I'm like, what do you mean taste the sandwich? That's super tough. But he was right, man. I never really ate any. I never enjoyed, hot dogs, fine cuisine. It was all the same to me, right? So you can practice those things a little bit. So here, I want to hit you up. I want to hit you between the eyes, all right? Because yeah, I'm going to test you, all right? You went. They won't even let me into NASA.
Did you just threaten violence to a guy that's did you just threaten violence to a guy that's been nothing but giving to us?
Yeah, I'm going to get the hate mail. I hadn't had enough hate mail. All right. So here's the situation, Pandit. So you get a call from your boss, you're on the phone, right? Or a terrible client that you just can't stand, and they're just going at you. They had a bad day, but boy, they are in the wrong, right? And so if you said something, struck back, you would be justified. What's your advice, man? Because this happens like all day long with a lot of folks, right? So what is your advice? What can we do before that moment and at that moment? What's your best?
So I would say that just go into one thing is if we make mindfulness practice a regular part of our day in life, if it becomes a part of our muscle memory, when that heated moment comes about, you've already prepared. It's almost like stretching before you go working out, before you go work out, right? You've prepared your muscles to handle that stress and you don't injure yourself. But it has to be part of our regular practice. Okay, you do it every day, once or twice, 3 times, a minute or two each. So when that moment happens, you'll be like, okay, this is a crazy thing happening. It's really unfair. This person is being really mean, but I'm not going to stoop to their level right now. Let them say all the stuff because at some point they will regret it, whether they want to deny it or not to themselves. They will regret that they did that. And they will remember how calm you stayed and you left the door open for them. They're going to remember like, man, I acted like a jerk, but they didn't. Okay. And they're going to realize that you were the better person at that moment and you left the door open. So even the client might be like, wow, they handled that pretty well. They apologized. They didn't retaliate. They didn't, just yell back. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should go back. And they'll tell other people like, I couldn't agree with him, but he was really, really cool during the whole meeting. Like, as opposed to if we went the same route as they did, now imagine how much bad mouthing they're going to give to us through everybody, and maybe put a Google review up if you have that on your business. So keeping calm and cool, I think most of the time, almost all the time. I mean, if you see some injustice happening to someone else, you got to like jump in and do stuff. I'm not talking about that. You talk about the example you gave. As much as we can, the calmer and cooler we are, we're going to be better off for it. And it'll also pay off. It definitely will pay off in the long run for our own reputation, which is everything in business.
Yes. I can't agree more. You know what's funny when I think of like people that are super calm and collected, especially during high pressure, high stake moments. Does anyone remember like Space Odyssey 2001 or whatever, where Hal just got more and more calm? The stressor, like the more stressful that environment was, when he finally said, "I can't do that." And anyway, that you just kind of remind me of that. Completely random non sequitur. I pulled a mic. But it's true. In those tense situations, there's just more credibility given to the more calm person.
Yeah.
And one of the coaching advices I got like in my corporate life was, when you're highly agitated or highly stressed, slow down your speech. And it does help calm down, because you have to breathe in between all the different words that you use, And no, that's really, I mean, come on. It's easier said than done.
It is.
How have you, from a corporate, when in your coaching and when you're speaking, I mean, you've seen enough executives that just are right on that cusp, right? But we're just not fully sure if they're going to not blow up at some point in time. Have you been able to see that and capture it or notice it in advance, or kind of pull them off to the side, or they kind of are what they are? Like, how have you responded to that in all your visits?
So usually I'll go, I don't get to see them in such an intimate way. I usually do my speeches to groups, like hundreds of people there. So I'll do that. So I may not see them in a very intimate and close up manner.
Okay.
All I'm hoping for is that they take what I've said and try to implement it into their own life. And if not them, then some part of the audience definitely will. And that gives me satisfaction, right?
That's cool.
Because we have to remember, change isn't going to happen overnight. If someone's been a certain way for 40, 50 years, you hope some of it, even a few drops of it, land, and that they'll think about it, because change is one of the hardest things for us. To change our behavior and character requires persistence and a real desire to be better, not just working, but as a better human being. It's so hard to make the change. It's easy to stay as you are. It's hard to change, way, way harder. And a lot of times people aren't willing to work that hard. People are willing to work hard in their careers, but not often as willing to work hard on themselves.
Easier said than done, right? It's easier to say. It's easy to read a book and be like, I got it. But it's that ivory tower situation, right? Where you could read 1,000 books, but if you don't know how to execute, you don't know how to apply it, you don't know how to look within yourself to actually understand what the message actually means, it's a waste of time if that's the case, right? If you're not really truly absorbing it.
Yeah.
So,
gosh. All right. So I had a little malfunction. My computer started meditating and just froze up. So I had to come out and come back. Mark Reed. Oh my gosh, man. I thought it was late over there. I love this guy. All right. So I'm going to kind of machine gun it, because I know we're getting about time. But hey, 20 seconds or less, right? So I got some questions that I know my hounds. I'm not going to call them out, because I don't want them to, like not see me soon. But here's the question. The first one, because I want to make sure folks get it, man. This is about monetization and happiness. Well, where did it go? Oh, the one question is, how can paying attention to doing something like brushing my teeth, right? Paying attention, being mindful in that moment. Isn't that time better spent planning the day and thinking about the stuff we can do, right? Why not?
The more we pay attention to one activity, we'll become better at paying attention at other activities, right? So if we implemented every little thing, we'll become more focused, more attentive in that moment to doing other things. And And sometimes during brushing your teeth, you may want to plan your day. It's okay. It's not like every single day you're brushing your teeth, you have to do that. There may be a bunch of other stuff that you need to plan. That's okay. But the more we practice, the better we'll be at every other activity.
Wow. Dude, I'm gonna have to amp it up. I can't unnerve this guy, man. This I wouldn't want to see it. Don't give me more hate mail. But yeah, see, I can tell you've been doing this for a long time. I love it. So, hey, here's a question that people ask a lot. So, how long will it take before I notice a difference in mindfulness, meditation, both?
Everyone's different. It's like asking 10 people how long is it going to take them until they can run a marathon. Everyone's at a different level of conditioning. Everyone's had a different background and upbringing. And so everyone's going to be has a different mind and different emotions and different stamina and different openness to doing it. That's also important, an openness to doing it. So every single person is unique. So it's going to take a different amount of time for every single person. And don't think you're just going to achieve perfection, because I still struggle with a crazy mind or impatience or intolerance. We struggle with these things. We just hope to get better every single day a little bit.
Yeah, and you can attest to this. Even the best of the best, right? Like I was talking about the Tibetan monks, right? Geshe-la, and I was talking about how the monkey mind. You heard that one? It won't stop. And he said,
Yeah.
"Mine neither." And I'm like, "What do you mean yours neither? Like you've been a monk since you were 7, bro. Like what are you talking about?" And he's like, again, he explained it in the craziest way. It's like watching a car go by the window, right? The dog's going to jump out and chase the car, but you're not a dog. You don't fixate on it. You don't chase it. You just let it go. Thought comes in, goes by the window, it's gone. You don't entertain it. You just let it be. That was the best advice I've ever got. And I remind my Sia reminds me, she don't know she does it. So that's what you mean, right? Like it's just it's a practice. That's why they don't call it perfect. You're always going to practice. Nobody arrives, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, you can eventually arrive. Just don't expect it to happen tomorrow morning, right?
Right. It's wild.
Even Neo in the Matrix had to go through quite a bit before he like saw everything. It takes time. It's a process. Hey, you didn't think I was going to throw that in there, right?
Yeah, no.
I was impressed with
Matrix.
that.
So
So
now we know
speaking of
what
the
the monks do.
Matrix, well, speaking of Matrix, we all know how great the music was in the Matrix. And so here's a question. I'm a music lover. And so this has been asked a couple times. I have my own personal answer, but I'd like to extend the question to you. Can I listen to music while meditating? And this is actually more Mike. I can't sit still for 10 minutes. Is it okay if I move around
Like a Muppet.
while meditating?
So music, yes, if it helps you, you can, because what music does is it keeps the mind focused on one thing, right? So your mind could wander and then the music brings it back to the present. So if you're listening to some crazy wild song, I would say no.
Yeah.
But if it's something calming, flute, some violin, just something that helps you stay focused and helps you stay calm, absolutely. I think music can be helpful. I personally don't use it so much. I like to do it in silence. So, but it's up to you. You try both methods, and maybe part of it you use music, part of it you don't. You can vary it up. You can change it up. You can experiment with it, right? And when you talk about like sitting down, sure. And again, if you don't have to do 10 minutes, you could do 5. You could do 5 sitting, you could do 5 standing if you want. Again, there's no real hard and fast rule. You can't really have a hard and fast rule when you have people with different conditioning, different skill sets, different types of bodies who can't sit cross-legged. So what, are they like condemned right for the life? No. When I teach the meditation, that people are sitting in chairs in conference rooms or at conference halls, they're all sitting in chairs. I'm not having everybody come down on the floor. No, you got to be comfortable.
Dude,
Right.
all right.
And to clarify, Mike's commenting on the back there. Okay, I get Tai Chi is movement, but I'm talking about you, Mr. Wigglebutt, like doing this little thing. That's probably not conducive to getting yourself in that space.
Oh, Pandit, I'm coming for you. Okay, I'm coming for you. I'm the meditation Muppet. Like it's like watching Fozzie do it down the live stream, isn't it? So but that's why Tai Chi made sense, because I can't sit still. But I love your approach, man. It's if you're going to meditate and get mad at it, you defeated the purpose. If you're going to try to be mindful and calm and be intentional, you're defeating the purpose. This is not a test. This is not, science here. I mean, as far as like following a formula, this is you follow the procedure and you let it be, and you discover through that, right? It's discovery. It's self-discovery. You learn a lot, man.
It's totally self-discovery. It's a journey. If you travel the same road 2 days in a row, even that journey will be a little different. right? There may be extra cars one day. There may be, you see an animal on the road another day. Something, it's maybe a little windier. Maybe you hit a bump that you didn't hit the other day. So even 2 days of meditating could be completely different, even though you're the same things. Like same road, 2 days, it'll be a different journey. And be open to that. You could have a great session one day, and the next day mine could be like going wild, erupting like a volcano. Let it erupt a little bit. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just try better the next time. That's it. Don't have to beat yourself up over it.
Yeah, dude. It's like you said, the Instapot, the pressure cooker, right? Let some of that out, man. And that's why everybody's so angry. Yeah, everybody. There's so many people so angry all the time, man. And you
Yeah.
know, it's silly. It's not cool, right? Come on, man. I'm in the South, right? I'll meditate. I got to, because I'd rather meditate. You know what looks goofy to me? Acting like Gargamel and yelling at your kids and being nobody wants to work with you. Like, I'd rather meditate and practice some stuff and actually enjoy a sandwich if it's going to make me better. That's what I
Yeah.
love about you. So let me ask you this. Gosh,
Mhm.
we got to have a part 6 or something, man, because there's so much here. But last question, not the last question, but how is so there's so many stressed out professionals. There's so many people, man. We got phones, we're technical, we're very Western in our mindset. So someone's new to this, man. You piqued their interest. If somebody's watching, I know you did. Right. I mean, we got Zen Sandwich over here. He's already ahead of the game. So my question is, what can someone do right now? What's a simple takeaway that they can see that, wow, this is something I should invest in, I should take seriously? What is your best advice for someone right now? Do this. What can they do right now or after this show?
Well, in terms of beginning a mindfulness practice,
Yes.
well, I would say start simple, right? Don't do too much in the beginning. I would say start off, do it in the morning and evening or even through the day. Start off with 10 deep breaths. And when I say deep breaths, you fill up your lungs with each inhalation, like really breathe in until your lungs are filled. And it may feel weird in the beginning because we don't breathe like that. I feel like we breathe just enough to get by.
Right.
We're just getting by. But
Just to
really
stay
keep
alive.
breathing, right? Until your lungs are filled. And when you exhale, really push out all the air. Experience what it's like to actually breathe a lot of oxygen, right? And then at the end of it, take a moment to think of one or two, three things that you're grateful for in life. Gratitude is a powerful way to shift your mindset from negative to positive, especially something you got some bad news. Take a moment to think of some good things that are happening in your life. What positive things are happening? And there's always something positive that you can find, and we have to train our mind to do that because our mind loves to go down the toilet, like, oh, woe is me, nothing's working out. Really, you might have a meal, you got a place to live, there's always something. And when we train our mind to see that, it changes our perspective so much about life. So I think that's one thing they can do right away.
Yeah, dude, you can't be worried and be grateful at the same time. Like if I got a splinter, I'm mad at the splinter, but at least I got wood, right? Like it's not easy, but I'm telling you, man, it's very freeing, and you let stuff go, and you can restore and keep relationships going when other people or you would have destroyed them in the past. So, you got a question, Sia?
No, that was my
No,
subtle way of
I've
it's
already said that.
108.
No, I already said that. I said the last question, and then she said last question. See, y'all, I need some
You
help.
said it multiple times, baby. Multiple times.
I'm just abused over here. All right. So what's how can people find you? I mean, people obviously this is useful stuff, man. They're still here, they're commenting. Thank you guys for doing this. This is amazing. Uh, you're talking about practical things, man. You're talking about happiness and well-being. So where can people find you have how many books? 2, right? So where can they
Books.
find those?
So both books can be found on Amazon, and I believe that QR code goes to my website. So there's a tab on my website that says books, and both books are available. The most recent one is called Mindfulness for the Wandering Mind. I can show a copy of it with the special trick that you guys taught me. Right? Can you see that? I don't know if you can or not.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they're both available on Amazon. My website has a link to all of them, and my website, panditdasa.com. That's where you can find out more about my speeches. I've got lots of videos on there, like little 2-3 minute inspirational videos people can watch on mindfulness. There's lots of blog articles on how to practice mindfulness in the workplace, what it means to be a mindful leader, how to create a positive workplace culture. Lots of stuff on my website that people can find, and that's the best way to contact me, or through LinkedIn.
Yeah. So organizations, like, is there any limit to the organizations or businesses that can contact you, or do you virtual, or do you in person, a combination
I
of
do.
both when you
I
speak?
do tons of virtual, especially during the pandemic. During those 3 years, I did over 150 virtual sessions during those 2 year periods. So
Nice.
pretty much any size of organization can invite me to do a virtual talk or in person. I've done sessions for talks for 10 to 15 like C-level people or an audience of 1,200 people, right? So any size, it really doesn't, impact who I speak for.
Yeah, dude, your target market is 100% people. If you got a pulse, this works, and you need this,
Yeah.
right? If you want to be happier. So, hey, you're a scholar and a gentleman. That's what I was trying to say, and I screwed it up. It's like, oh gosh, it's like Pootie Tang over here. All right, so hey, you're a good guy. We appreciate you taking the time for us. Everybody, go out there, follow this guy on LinkedIn, check out his website. I mean, he's got blogs, everything. Dive into it. That's the problem. So Pandit, man, I appreciate you 1000%. Hey, two times in a man, I got good karma, man. I'm telling you. So, man, thank you so much, Pandit.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sia. Thank you, Raquel. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, my pleasure. And everybody, before you head out there, I just want to give another shout out to the hounds and future hounds out there. Kenny D, I'm so glad you're back, my friend. All you guys, man, you make this special. Jody, oh gosh, she's here and she's got to put up with me later, like tomorrow. So thank you for that. Guys, put this into place. That's all I'm going to say. Mike's final thoughts, put it into practice, right? Don't, if you have problems, start finding solutions. These are simple solutions that this guy shared with us from experience. And by the way, I had a doctor tell me to breathe real deep, Pandit, to flush it out. So it's not, they've been saying that for 1,000 years, right? And
Yeah.
now medical science is like, hey, clear your lungs out. This is not hokey. Try it. You don't have to tell nobody. Nobody has to know you're actually trying to enjoy your sandwich, right? Just to try to enjoy the sandwich. So thank you for that, man. That's practical. That helped me. Great reminders. You're the man. So anybody out there, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget Miss Raquel Flores. All right, go check it. Go click attend on her event when it launches. And we will see you then. Appreciate everybody. And y'all have a nice day. And remember, don't plan when you brush your teeth. I want you to pay attention. All right. Mindfulness. All right. Y'all be good out there. Let's round it up. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.